So I've been living in 34 houses so far in my life in 34 years, so that's technically one house a year. And a lot of people say to me, wow, that's crazy. What's wrong? Why did you do that? And I think it's interesting how people interpret this as tragic, because I don't think I've been through tragic, even though I've been through hardship, but living in 34 houses in 34 years, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, because you get to learn about yourself, you get to learn what you do, what you say, and a lot of things really. Ultimately, you learn how you as a person is not complete, it's not a fixed person, you change constantly. I change by living in different houses. I have different personality, I get different things from my life, and I learned to live in a shared space, but I also learned that I don't need to do this. I can just go, I can just pack my bag and go. I don't need to care. And sometimes I learned that it's okay to lose money for someone like $200 or $300 if they were to take it. Like if the landlord wouldn't want to give it to you, just as long as you get this piece of money, it's probably say, oh, you should not lose money, you shouldn't. Ideally, technically yes, but ultimately it's kind of no, because ultimately sometimes losing money is not a bad thing either. It just happened and you just deal with it. And a lot of time people live in share house, they don't have proper agreement, which means that when something happens they can't call anyone. But that's just part of life in modern society, is that you just have to adapt. And I think living in so many houses, I learned about myself that it takes me a long time to learn things. I am a slow learner, but ultimately teach me to a lesson that I could be a terrible person in life if I were to given a chance. This thing I learned by living in a share house, because ultimately people think that they are good people, they are reasonable people, but that's because they haven't got the opportunity to do something bad. But ultimately they have this subtle abusive toward others. It's quite subtle, because they don't learn who they are. And I learned who I am as an individual. It's not something that interesting. I don't think who I am is not interesting. It's about the action that I do, and that's about action. And ultimately, living in these different houses gives you freedom to go, freedom to not live here, freedom to just keep moving, freedom to disappear and come back. And eventually you discover that life is incredible, it's so amazing, because it's given everything you ever need. It's given every opportunity, and it's just so fascinating how many people spend complaining. First, they spend a lot of time watching TV, then they spend time complaining about the news, the media, the world, the politics and everything. Complain, all they do is complain. And I don't think it's necessarily good idea to complain all the time, because they complain about the weather, and as someone who come up to go to live with all kind of weather, I love every single weather. Raining, I love it. Cold, I love it. Sunny, I love it. Hot, I love it. Dry, yes, I love it. And I love all kind of weather, because I live in different places, and I don't expect the world to be just magical place where it's heaven, where we can be happy and carefree in summer all the time. I don't think that's how things works, because I think everywhere you go, there's always going to be a challenge, and you learn to overcome the challenge by adapting to your circumstances. And learn to, if you say this is too much, then go, because ultimately nobody's stopping you, nobody here to say, no, you need to do this thing because you have to, it's your life. Your life isn't worth living if you're scared. Your life isn't worth living if you're not willing to live it as fulfilled as possible. Your life is not worth living if you're not willing to look for wonderful things. If you if you stay fixed to this life that given, your life will be fixed. You need to embrace your creativity, your imagination, everything that's comes with it, your bitterness or your anger. Embrace everything and come together and say, okay, I'm all kind of people. I can be bad, I can be good, I can be narcissistic, I can be sociopath, I can be cruel, I can be terrible, I can be sweet, I can be kind. All sort of things, that's sort of part of you within yourself. But people wouldn't know this thing if they just stay in one house, because all they see is the same thing. That's a good thing about living in different houses. You see different suburbs, you see different places, you see how each other interact, you see how people react with each other, you see all sort of things. You see good things, you see bad things, and you see people sort of talk to each other, talk about each other behind each other's back, and all sort of that. You see terrible shit in this world, terrible shit. But in the end, it would be worth it to try. You don't have to live 34 houses, see, because every individual is different. Every individual has their own journey, and you need to enjoy the journey. Don't expect a destination to come very quickly. Just enjoy the journey. Just take it slow. Enjoy every moment. Which means no phone, no nothing. Just live your life fully and figure out who you are. That's important, because who you are isn't something that anyone can label. No one can label you are. You just need to figure out on your own. And you don't have to live as many houses. You just a few maybe. Live in a share house is good. I have lived in a private place where I have my place on my own. It's good. Living in a share house is good. Different things. Yes, there's troubles. There are things that challenge you. Yes, there's sort of up and down going on. You just have to figure out what to do, and you learn to communicate better with your house shares people, because ultimately living in a share house and living in 34 houses is not the end of the world. It's not terrible. It's an experience that I experienced it.